Hello, welcome to my channel, A Book Forest. My name is Kim and today I'm going to be doing my August TBR. Hopefully, I have like a few books on there, but I'm not sure I will get to all of them, hopefully. I'm not sure if I'll have time. August seems like it's going to be very busy, unfortunately. And also, I'm super fatigued from the heat. I just hate summer. I know most people love it, but I just dislike the humidity and the heat, and it's really not my thing. I prefer the dead of winter, to be honest, and it's quite cold here. So we'll see. For starters, I would like to get to, but I'm not sure I will have time, to The Swift and the Harrier. It's a prequel to The Players by Minette Walters, which I've read previously as an advanced reader copy, and I've done a separate review, so I'll link that down below. The Swift and the Harrier is set a few years, like a few decades before The Players. So this is set during the English Civil War, so when Oliver Cromwell was battling Charles I. And I think there's characters, maybe they're on opposite sides of the conflict, or one is neutral and the other one is is like really definitely in one camp. I think the main character is Jane Swift, which I know from The Players. She's very spirited, witty, but I've met her as a grown woman, so I'm curious to see her as a young one. There's probably gonna be a love story, but she's really intellectual. From what I've read in The Players, it was a very intellectual love story, very different. And there's probably gonna be spying and heists. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. The Players was set in the reign of James II. So they skipped entirely. She skipped entirely over Charles II reign, which I enjoy, because usually that's all you get. Like when you get historical fiction in England, you only get like medieval, like William the Conqueror, Anglo-Saxon, or you get probably sometimes like the reign of Henry VIII, or you get like Charles II or Victoria. You never get anything in between. So yeah, it's gonna be refreshing if I can get to it. Then I would like to continue in The Bound and the Broken by Ryan Cahill. So I've read the first book, which is Of Blood and Fire, and it's set like in a fantasy world, classically fantasy world, I would say, with like farm boys and dragons and things like getting out of your village and setting out on an adventure, the call to adventure, which I love. Of the Blood and Fire was alright. I gave it 3 stars, as I recall. I read it quite a while ago, a few months to a year ago, and I enjoyed it, but I thought it was kind of average. But I think from what I've heard about this series is that it improves dramatically with the sequels. So I have high hopes. However, the sequel, the second book is Of Darkness and Light, is a chunker. It's a huge book. I'm not gonna have time to read that now. So I'm just gonna settle for a little novella in this world. It's called The Blood That Burns the Winter Snow. And it's set before Of Blood and Fire, so I think I'm okay to not get spoiled. And it's about the father of one of the characters in Of Blood and Fire. So yeah, it's about 30 pages. I should be able to get to that one. And then continuing on my Guy Gabriel K project, I'm reading 2 books by him this month. I'm reading Under Heaven. I think it's very well regarded, that one of the favorites of the fans of K, and it's set in a clearly Asian inspired world. And hopefully, I don't know too much about the history. I'm not super well versed in Asian history, so I should enjoy this, because usually when I know too much about the pseudo history he's writing about, I get out of it. But this one I should be alright. And yeah, it's very well regarded. And then there's River of Stars, which is a sequel of sorts. It's set in the same world. I don't think there's like huge events relating to each other, but it's set in the same environment, maybe a few hundred years later. So we'll see. I don't know anything. Like, I've heard very little about the story of those books. I think it's very political, and as usual, the characters are great. So hopefully. And I wish I had like the same edition. This one is very nice and floppy, but it's not as attractive. This one is much nicer to look at, and it's very nice and compact, which I enjoy. Like, I really like mass market paperbacks personally. I wish they would bring them back, because you don't get to buy them anymore. But when I read a paperback like this, or a mass market paperback, it's super easy to hold with one hand, and I love that. So this one would be a bit more difficult, you know. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Hopefully I get to all of it this month. So let me know what you're reading in August, if you've read any of the books I mentioned, if you enjoyed them or not, and see you next time.